If you watch the Wolves game 3-0, right, you see the way Thiago was tracking back. This Ruben Neves, he just walked, like literally he was just running, jogging into the penalty box. Nobody was tracking his run. And then he scored the third goal.
That wasn't a red, that was a yellow. Welcome to the Football Kaki podcast, part of the Chit podcast network. I am your host, Eldad, and I'm joined by my fellow Kaki bros, Jordan and Paul. Boys, how are you doing today?
Alright, bro.
Not so good.
Why?
Dropping points.
Yeah, man, dropping points. Everybody's dropping points this week. But before we get into everything, once again, if you're listening in, thank you so much for giving us a try, giving us a listen to just a bunch of boys who love talking about this beautiful game. Now, for the weekend, there were a few upsets and there were a few big clubs at the top that were dropping points. So, Paul, what is our EPL roundup for this week? What were the results or what were the big upsets of the weekend?
All right, like what you mentioned just now. Everyone dropped points except the major teams dropped points except Manchester United.
Yeah,
so,
GGMU.
So let's go to the big one first. I think the bigger one is when Everton beat Arsenal.
Yep.
And we were just talking about last week how Everton's troubles and how they were not going to survive this season, right?
Yeah, man.
But I guess they just played the Sean Dyche way and the Burnley way.
Yeah.
If you realize, right, the McNeil cross to Tarkowski, so both of them were actually ex-Burnley.
Ex-Burnley.
Yeah, and then the manager, Sean Dyche.
He's also Burnley. So it's just the Burnley method, man.
Foolproof way to play in the EPL.
Yeah, man. Plus, I also think that maybe it's the first game under a new manager, so all the momentum was there.
No, the need to impress was there.
Yeah, the
need to impress was there.
Correct.
Yeah, good. What other results were there?
Yeah, so actually, I will just talk about Chelsea. They actually played on Friday night, so they actually drew 0-0 with Fulham.
Yeah.
Wow, right?
Yeah.
So what's the point of spending all this money?
And this Mudryk got sub out halftime.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
I really don't understand what was going on.
And somehow I was saying he played like Hazard. Now he got sub off.
Yeah. For those of you that saw the recent episode after the Chelsea game, Jordan said that Mudryk is like a good cover comparison for Hazard, right? Then he did what Hazard happened at Real Madrid, he cannot sub out lah. So
Yep.
I think boys, we better be careful with what we say here next time round.
Yeah, so the next one is I'm just diving into those matches that I felt that was very crucial to the league.
Yep.
So another crucial game is actually last night's game, which was Spurs and Man City.
Spurs and City.
So it's a little bit of a consolation for Jordan here because Man City lost 1-0.
For once, I need to support Spurs.
Yeah, I was watching the game, right? I was actually quite before the game, I was really if Man City won, right, they'll be 2 points behind.
Wow, it's more exciting, man.
Then you see, just like that, the 8-point lead gone.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, it's just in a blink of an eye, 1 week.
Correct.
8-point league is gone.
Then I was talking to Paul earlier today, right? Then I was just telling him, I don't want to, right? But I hope Man City beats Arsenal, Then at least he has an advantage to me.
Yes.
Because
so now it's like a 3-horse race.
3-horse
race. Correct. Because it will actually cut down the points deficit by quite a lot. So, but Arsenal do have a game in hand, so that one actually does play a key part. Paul, what's the next big result? I know got one more big team to mention.
Yeah, so the big one is I haven't mentioned Man U, right?
So
Man U is actually the one that only this big team has actually won, yeah. But it was just that it was 2-0 until that stupid thing happened with Casemiro. So he ended up getting sent off, and Palace actually scored one back. So it was quite a intense 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So
it was a very, very intense 20 minutes that did not actually have to be intense because we were actually in control of majority of the game.
Sorry, so he chokeslammed the fella.
No lah, wow, he Undertaker
Man, he choked the fella, right? That's why.
Kali bomb. Kali is used to hand. Undertaker and Kane is used one hand.
It was, I don't know what's the story, but from what I saw, right, it looked like he had two hands on wheels.
Yeah. Like,
it looked like it.
I see, no doubt it's a red card. Like, it's any referee you will give red card, I can understand.
Yeah.
But something that must be the Crystal Palace player that said something that really causes Casemiro to really
actually it's the schlep. He pushed Anthony down the slope. Because Man U's stadium is
down.
Slide. Yeah, so it's a very dangerous tackle actually. So like Casemiro just wanted to stand up for his like teammate lah, and then actually he when he held on to Hughes, right, actually he was already falling down. So I think in a way also trying to like
gain balance.
Yeah, gain balance, and also at the same time stop him from fighting. It's just that it looked very wrong because he was holding on to his neck.
Yeah, but I also think that if you're looking at the overall picture, right, there could have been more than one player sent off.
Yeah, definitely.
I think definitely.
All I can say is, right, I don't like that guy, that referee, that Andre Mariner. Yeah. Yeah, Jordan, FYI, you know he's the referee that sent off Oxlade-Chamberlain. I know, the Kieran Gibbs.
Oh.
You remember the time Oxlade-Chamberlain handball? Yeah. He's the referee that you got that mixed up. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Oh, he's still there.
Okay. Nevertheless, I will go on to the last and final result, which we will be covering for this episode today. It's actually Wolves 3, Liverpool 0.
Oh my gosh, man.
Oh no. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Another defeat for
Upset.
Liverpool. Yeah, because like last week they lost to Brighton, right? Or the week before.
Yeah,
no, that one wasn't league.
League, they lost the FA Cup and League back to back.
Yeah, they lost the. I know they were out of the cup. They were out of the cup. Then the week before they lost to. Then before that was Brighton. So they played Brighton twice, right?
Yeah, that previous week.
Yeah. So
so it's actually like I think the previous EPL game they draw Chelsea, if I'm not wrong.
They drew Chelsea.
Yeah.
They drew Chelsea 0-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, before that they lost 3-0 to Brighton.
So they lost to Brighton. So it's
3 games, 1 point.
Yeah, so correct me if I'm wrong. Is Brighton lost, Chelsea drew out of the cup to Brighton, then lost to Wolves again.
Yeah.
Wolves. So yes, as you heard, today is a very special episode and topic as why we left the Liverpool result last, because today we are going to do a deep dive into Liverpool as a whole. What is wrong with the club? How can they be fixed? And is there a problem with the ownership group? So today we are going to be discussing 3 main pointers. The first point, of course, is what exactly is wrong with Liverpool? Like, what are the things that we as football fans see is the major problem with one of the more premier clubs in the past 5 to 6 years under Jurgen Klopp? The second point is, of course, the second thing that we're going to discuss is how are we going to rectify these particular problems, specifically on the pitch problems that they're actually facing. And the last is, of course, the off-field issues with the ownership and, of course, manager Jurgen Klopp.
Okay.
All right, so let's get into it. All right, boys. Now we're going to talk about Liverpool and what exactly is wrong. For those of you listening in, this is the past 7 game records for Liverpool, right? And they've only had 1 victory. They have not had a win in the Premier League since December. In the Premier League, for everybody's knowledge, they've lost to Brentford 3-1. They have lost to Brighton 3-0. They have drawn 0-0 with Liverpool. And they have lost 3-0 to Wolverhampton Wanderers. So, boys, 1 in 7 since the turn of the year is appalling, especially for club with Liverpool standard. So, what's wrong? What is actually wrong with this club right now at the moment, from your view as football fans and neutrals?
Firstly, I have to say, it's quite fast, and I mean, like, the past few years, Liverpool was like a fortress.
Yes.
In Anfield or even in away games.
Yep.
Just a blink of an eye, you pluck someone out from the club or someone left the club as well. Now they are down to the middle of the table. So it can be quite scary at times. Like, see now, if I'm a happy Arsenal fan, but he's never confirmed what's going to happen 3 seasons later.
Yes, correct. I do agree.
So I think definitely I would say one thing is that the board is not really backing Klopp enough of the correct players lah. Yeah,
I do agree. But the thing is that you also can't say that they're also not spending also lah. So I think that in terms of expenditure, they've spent quite a lot of money this year. I think if I'm not wrong, over 100 million on 2 players. Yeah, and Paul, what's your take on the current situation?
Like you said, they spend the two players are Nunes and Gakpo, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so actually, they at the start of the season, they signed Nunes is good because they have to replace Mane.
Yes.
So that purchase is actually quite logical.
Yep.
But they also at the same time knew they had to sign a midfielder because of the Henderson is injury prone and aging,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then Fabinho is also injury prone.
Yep.
Keita is injury prone. Thiago is injury prone.
Yep.
So you don't really have a fixed like three-man midfield. So they decided to go and loan this Arthur Melo from Barca, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then apparently, this is what I heard when in his first month, I think Klopp wasn't very impressed by him. So they wanted to actually terminate his loan, but I think they just decided to keep him.
What was he not impressed by?
I think just the way he plays, I think he doesn't press or certain movements that he's not very impressed by. Yeah. Okay. So I think they got scammed in a way into taking this loan deal. And then also actually that is really the clear indication that you should be going to sign a midfielder in January.
Yep.
But then I don't know why they decided to go for Gakpo. Okay, in terms of value or what you call it, availability at that time, they decided to snatch him away from Man U lah.
Yep.
Which I feel they didn't really need him as much as they need a midfielder.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
So maybe that's why they got their priorities wrong in that aspect. Because 40 million, you can get a solid midfielder, I feel.
Yep.
Yeah. And you can't say there's no midfielder because you see clubs like Man U, they loan Sabitzer and all this. Yeah, you know. Enzo went to Chelsea, even though you can't get him for 40 million. It's just that at that point, I don't know why they didn't go all out for a midfielder when the window opened.
Yeah. I do agree also, and I do think that especially with the way that Liverpool play, the pressing style, you need players with legs in the midfield. You need engines. Like people that are willing to run, people that are willing to really be the heart of the team. And I do think that, let's say, if you look at Jordan Henderson, right? Jordan Henderson in his prime was perfect for this midfield. Yeah. Because of the way he exerts force, the way he chases down people, the way he covers. But now, right, as we are addressing this, because we already know that there are problems with the midfield, a lot of the midfielders are injury prone, right? Has this affected the defense? Is this a snowball effect on the back four of Liverpool now?
I think in any team, right, if your midfield is not stable, your defense will pay for it. It's even in this modern football now. Yeah, you see if Fabinho is injured, if there's no Henderson, then Thiago and Keita, they are not really the most defensive-minded players. If you watch the Wolves game 3-0, right, you see the way Thiago was tracking back. This Ruben Neves, he just walked, literally he was just jogging into the penalty box. Nobody was checking his run. And then he scored the third goal.
Yeah.
So it's certain movements because they are gifted in terms of passing, they're not gifted in terms of defending, you know.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
I also can feel that Liverpool pairing of the defenders they are not prepared to live without Van Dijk for this such long period of time.
Yeah.
Then you can see that they are struggling to find the correct
chemistry.
The chemistry balance and all this. Yeah. I must say that though Trent is always the everyone tend to point finger at him much, but I think he also do provide some attacking threat at some point of time. But then he still considered a core team to the Liverpool squad. It's just that now that really Liverpool midfield is the concern.
Yep.
Yeah, because if what Paul has said, if your midfield is strong enough, your defense shouldn't cause any much of the problem.
Yeah. But then I got this question. Because if let's say, for example, VVD, he's been there, but he's not been also the VVD that we know this season. The question that I have is that if VVD is not there, right, can the defense still function on its own or not? Because currently, I've seen times this year, and both of you have seen it's like when Trent and Gomez are on the right side together, it's just like it's a disaster. Like they are ball watching, they are standing there, they are just like the players are just running by. So is it a lack of effort, a lack of communication, or is it just like just no VVD to command everybody, right? Then it's just that they don't have an understanding.
I think even they played Napoli earlier this season.
Yeah.
Gomez and Trent, right? I think VVD was playing also.
Was he?
Yeah, I think he was. It was the game that it was a complete.
The game that was a complete disaster, lah.
Yeah, a complete disaster, right? Yeah. But if you were to ask me, right? You asked me that question: if can the defense still function without VVD? I think they have shown that they can. Because Champions League game, I think I saw a game where Konate was like an absolute like monster. When VVD wasn't there.
Correct.
So ultimately, it's still the issue of the core of the team, which is the midfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your defense and your keeper is not really going to change that much. Because if at most just don't have VVD, so you play Matip and Konate, Robertson and Trent and Alisson, but your midfield is ever changing, right? Then it's very hard.
It's changing. Then you must get used to this person.
And it's not like
true.
Because your Henderson is your captain. And if he doesn't play, then it's the lack of the command in midfield is gone. Because Thiago and Keita is not really the commanding type, and they are really not very good in terms of defensive duties.
Yeah. Correct.
Actually, I'm quite surprised that they don't see this as an issue, that they got the urgency to really go and at least go and steal Declan Rice now.
But
no, it's because they are very clear they want to sign Jude Bellingham.
But then
so they are holding on to the.
But then your issue is right in front of you. Your issue is right in front of you. You don't want to.
Yeah, correct.
Like you don't want to buy now and solve it, then you want to buy later.
For the price now,
Correct.
Yeah.
But the thing is that Liverpool actually got a lot of midfielders. Like it's not just one. It's just not like one or two. It's like 6 or 7 or 8.
Yeah, but in terms of
but also
you're having midfielders, but then you cannot identify which is your best three. Then it doesn't make sense as well.
Yeah. So my question becomes is it a question of overthinking or not? Because I know Liverpool's back. Okay, this is what I see. Liverpool's centre two at the centre back. They're never fixed one. It's always changing.
Because the defenders are get injury prone also.
So currently the Wolves game, was it Matip? It was Matip and Gomez, right?
Matip and Gomez. Yep.
Matip and Gomez, right? Yeah. So is Konate available?
Konate also, I think, injury prone, but I'm not sure about that specific game, whether he was available or not.
Or was he on the bench?
He was not on the bench.
He was not
on the bench.
Yeah.
He was not on the bench. But then I still think that
it's just a aging squad I feel. What do you think?
I honestly, my view is that the squad is old already. The legs are not there already. So if the legs are not there, especially in midfield, right, and with the style of pressing they can, you can press for 5-6 years, right, when you're on the verge of like 25, 26, right, all the way until like 31, 32, right. But then by the time you get to 33, 34, you cannot already. Is a point where...
But the attack is young, As in, the attack is apart from Salah,
yeah,
correct. The attack is young, correct. But the thing is that they are getting used to a new league also, and they're getting used to their teammates. You must remember, it was Mane, Firmino, and Salah, right, for at least 4 to 5 years. Together,
like they drew together, all that.
Drill into their brain already that this is the moment that they lose the ball, they press in the final third. In the final third. So the reactions are not as instinctive as compared to Nunes and Gakpo, to me, especially Gakpo. Gakpo's only been there less than a month. For Nunes, he's already getting drilled inside, right? And there's also a question of which is his best position, a left wing or striker. Same for Gakpo. So when you have that and you got two young guys, right? If you're an opponent, right, wouldn't you think it's better? And I guess ask both of you this opinion. Wouldn't it be better if I just put my all defensive efforts and I just try to mark out Salah?
Salah also has been very ever since Liverpool gave him the new contract. He has been deep in the form.
Correct. Then, because I think that now currently, what Salah is getting is the Ronaldo effect. or the Ronaldo or
No,
what? Or
it's
like
just
the
a
Ronaldo
common.
treatment?
It's just a common. I feel it's just a common player thing where they feel that they work so hard, right? And then when they finally get the mega contract, right? Then to me it's like, okay, I already work hard enough to deserve this pay. So I don't have to put in as much effort as last time, you know.
But you think he's putting in less effort now after the contract?
He only has 4 goals. Seven goals or 4 goals? I can't remember.
Yeah, but then the question becomes, right, is there more of a thing where the game plan for our opposing team is to basically keep Salah away from creation?
In a way, they know how to play against him. Because last year they had to mark either Salah or Mane. Now you just mark Salah.
Correct.
You double up on Salah, the other 2 guys can't really do much.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So it's also more or less like, especially their front three. If you just cover Salah, right, you know that the other 2 are not going to be as effective also. Like Nunez has had a high chance ratio, but his conversion rate is very low.
Yep.
Yeah, conversion rate is very low. Gakpo is slowly getting there, and he's slowly starting to get in this position, right? But he's also not a pure striker or a pure forward, So essentially, right, what they are doing is that they are essentially playing with a striker that is a bit raw. His conversion rate is not strong, right? And a new winger, right? And the king of Liverpool, which is basically Salah. But the thing is that everybody marks the king, because the other 2 are just like, oh, okay. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Teams really go and mark up Salah so often. Because he's not as potent as before.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't see much of teams closing him down that much often. To be honest, he's quite easily get dispossessed of the ball. So playing him at the wing sometimes, I will put a question mark for this season. I would prefer him to play central than
striker.
Yeah, because as what Paul says, he's aging already. I mean, he do not have the pace as before, I believe. And with now, I think a central role will really help him. He can play against offside trap. Then he don't have to play from the out wide and cut in again. Yeah, it's more direct play lah.
So, Josh, it means that you are saying that it's more towards Salah aging and not having the same attributes that he used to have versus teams marking him out of the game, or like trying to isolate him a bit.
Yeah. I mean, like Salah is aging.
Yeah.
As what I mentioned. Then also, he got no more competition to face like he used to face with Mane.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's also a very important point where you have competition within the squad, right? So you push each other to like play your best, you know. Because like the moment you drop in performance, right, the other guy takes your spot.
If the injuries weren't here, and if let's say they hadn't bought players like Gakpo and Nunez, would Liverpool be in the state it's in, and we have already been fixed? If like let's say earlier Jordan brought up, he's saying that there's a problem in the midfield that is clearly right in front of you, right? If in the summer window, right, Liverpool had not bought Nunez, and in the January transfer window they had not bought Gakpo, say they went out to buy a midfielder, they went out to get Enzo before the World Cup, or they went out to get Declan Rice or Bellingham before the World Cup, right? Would it solve a lot of their problems now? Or is it just more or less a situation where the injuries are just too much?
I just feel that it wouldn't be so drastic now, you know. If they had, like you said, like if you mentioned if they had that surplus in Enzo or maybe Bellingham.
Yep.
Especially Bellingham because Bellingham is he looks like a Liverpool player, I feel, and he fits the role. If you watch him play in England, it's really like a dominant presence in midfield, which is what Liverpool need now,
Yeah.
He's like a Van Dijk in midfield.
1 or 2 purchase that they needed. I would think
ease
those who are injured back in, then I think should be okay.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I think so. So, okay. So to conclude this, I think more or less we all agree that the midfield needs to get replaced. Correct?
Not replace just changing.
Addition.
Yeah,
1 or 2.
Addition. Like players like Keita is ending contract right by end of this season.
Yeah, I don't think they will. I don't think.
Yeah, because he came to this Liverpool for like 3-4 season, injury, like, almost more than half of it. So I would think...
Yeah, so I just feel that they just need to add 1 or 2 midfielders first. Then you let them come back. You let Henderson all come back first. Then you see how they perform. If they're still underperforming, then maybe it's time to...
Clear,
gotta clear a bit.
So they haven't reached the point of I need to clear house already. Like you don't know
why, because you won't know how the new players come in and play. What if they come in and become like after Melo? Right?
That's true. That's true. But the thing is that if they do get in new players, right, they have to recycle and retrain every single one of the new players into the system.
Yeah.
Which is probably...
But Klopp is okay. Klopp is quite good at doing that because when Fabinho came and all that, he didn't play him for a few games.
Yeah.
Like maybe to let him understand how the system works, train him personally on the training ground. And after that, you see when he came into the team, it was like so solid.
Yeah, but it's also but the thing is that the difference between that is you're adding one piece into the team. Now essentially you are trying to rebuild a core. So it's a different thing altogether to me.
You just need Henderson to come back first, Then I feel with his guidance it's still okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and Fabinho. So Fabinho is injured, so you get these two. They are the senior players of this team, So
yep.
Okay,
I think
their problems is not like super hard to fix. It can be fixed, but it's just that there are a lot of certain other factors adding on to their road to recovery.
Okay, I think we can. Okay, so I think that's it for this particular segment, guys. So, any more things to add before we move to the ownership?
No,
that's it. So, I think we are all clear in consensus that Liverpool essentially they don't need to overhaul. They don't need to do a full overhaul yet.
They just need additions. They need additions.
They just need additional components to make the team stable and better . Okay, I think this one, let's just see what happens in the summer window. Summer window, right?
Second half of the window,
and the second half of the season. Hopefully everything comes back. Alright, that's it for this particular segment. Let's move on to the ownership.